Well, it was a super warm welcome for King Charles and Queen Camilla as the royal couple kicked off public duties in Sydney yesterday. Their Majesties dressed to impress as they greeted locals and took selfies with the crowd before attending a church service.
But all eyes were on Queen Camilla's style as she pays tribute to Australia with her fashion.
For more, celebrity stylist Elliot Garneau joins us now. Hi, Elliot. It's always
Morning.
good to make a very good first impression. Can we kick it off with their arrival outfits?
The King and Queen looked absolutely beautiful in their arrival looks, and what I clocked straight away that was Queen Camilla was actually wearing the same Fiona Clare dress that she had worn in her official portrait that the King and Queen had taken as the monarchs of Australia and New Zealand. So what I love about what the royal family does with their outfits is, I don't know if thrifty is the right word, but they're very considerate in throwing specific looks to specific countries, nodding into this country that they're attending, and also a representation of this portrait and arrival. So I think it was quite a nice story from beginning to end.
And Camilla chose a brooch with particular significance. Can you tell us a bit about that?
She did. So she was wearing the Australian golden wattle brooch, which was actually gifted to Queen Elizabeth II on her first trip to Australia in 1954. It was gifted by the Australian government and the Australian people. And in the 16 tours that Queen Elizabeth actually did of Australia, this was a favourite jewellery piece that she brought out a lot. So again, back to that symbolism and back to that representation of the host country, Queen Camilla has now carried on that tradition by wearing this very significant brooch, and it's a nod to the Australian people.
It's a really nice way of saying she was wearing a hand-me-down.
Yeah, exactly right.
What it was,
well, the royals
a
love
very
a hand-me-down.
glamorous one. Yeah, why not?
I think they just keep them in vaults and towers.
Yeah. She's known, well, Queen Elizabeth was known for wearing bright colours on these public tours so that people could see her from a distance, because not everyone gets so up close and personal. So what do we make of Camilla's choices so far?
Well, I think that Camilla, since becoming Queen, has probably been a little bit more reserved in her colour choices. I think Queen Elizabeth II was very small. I never saw her in person, but I think that was common knowledge, right? So she really had to stand out from the crowd. Camilla, I would actually say, makes more muted and sometimes more sophisticated colour choices. I think that they're very timeless as well. But on this tour, she started very bold with the blue, and then she's worn this outfit, this mint green, to church yesterday. And I think that her colour choices are very reflective of her own personal sense of style.
Yes, yeah.
The Queen sometimes was in every colour under the rainbow, whereas I think Camilla works more closely with colours that she thinks suits her.
Now, the royals couple dressed for church on Saturday. Is this a common thing for them to couple dress like they did?
I think to an extent, like, any couple wants to be complimentary, right?
But do you reckon they work with stylists? Would there be...
Well, the King has a valet. So the King has specific tailors that have royal warrants. They would have his measurements and his suiting would get sent to him specifically. He obviously has regalia and specific things that he needs help with. Queen Camilla does have a stylist, and she's worked with the same stylist since 2005, since her wedding to King Charles. And a fun fact about her stylist was actually the Queen Mother's dresser before she took on the role as Queen Camilla's stylist then, when she was the Duchess of Cornwall. So they really keep people in the fold, and it's not necessarily styling per se. Yes, they'll organise the outfits, but they'll actually curate the jewellery and help them get dressed on the morning and that kind of thing. So it's taking it to another step, really. Very intimate.
Yes. If I had regalia, I needed sorted. Like,
I mean, you've got
would have...
knobs and bits and things and hanging and tassels.
There's no way to address the co-host.
Sorry, Sam, sorry.
How has King Charles changed over the years in his style? I would suggest he really hasn't. He's always been a pretty sharp... I think he's a sharp dresser.
I'm not joking when I say this. Yeah. When he was Prince Charles, he used to be on my mood board for so many menswear looks because he is the penultimate refined dresser. I think that the biggest differentiation between when he was, in his early days as the Prince of Wales and now obviously being the King is his age. So it's a little bit more reflective of his age. He's dressing a little bit more for comfort now. He used to be a lot of double-breasted, very, very fine tailoring, like very, very structured, whereas now the fabric's getting softer, things are getting a little looser. They're obviously much more complementary to his body shape. As you get older, you obviously want things to be a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he still looks very refined and fantastic.
Yes.
Canberra today, what can we expect fashion-wise?
Well, I hope that we see something Australian. I don't necessarily know if we will. I think that the King and the Queen are very loyal to their specific tailors and their specific designers that know their bodies. But hopefully we see something Australian. Maybe a little bit more jewellery that represents the country, or maybe some millinery from the Queen.
Put it this way, I can't see Queen Camilla rocking a Zimmerman.
No, I don't think she's into sailboat maxi skirts. But do you know what? Maybe a Scanlon and Theodore little crepe knit moment, little cap sleeve. You know what? Let's just stay tuned. Fingers crossed.
Couple dressing in Ed Hardy tracksuits. I could see that. Absolutely.
Yeah, Couture velour trackies.
Do you think Charles actually owns a tracksuit? I don't think so.
Do you reckon when he watches telly, he just like puts on his slippers and tracky dacks and like has a meal in front of the telly?
Full three-piece suit, even
The
if
whole
it's
time.
telly.
The whole
Yeah,
time. And tie. And tie.
There'd be a collar involved always.
There's got to be a collar.
Elliot, lovely to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.